Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Feel It to Heal It podcast. Yeah. Ah. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. I am hopping onto Morning Tea Live. Let me just write a little title. What should we title this? Getting Still with Ourselves. You guys really get the in real time behind the scenes, not so much behind the scenes, front and center scene of creating these lives that you listen to, whether on IG or the pod or YouTube or anywhere else. I think those are the main three places. All right, let's do the damn thing. I got my Lion King mug. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Tea Live. I am so happy and grateful and honored to be here with you guys today. I am feeling such spring, fresh energy for March. Like March is feeling so good. January and February for me, not so great. But March is just a whole other energy. And it's a beautiful example of when we are able to get through the tougher shedding, cocoon, lonely, alone phases, we get to the other side, which is freedom and alignment and abundance and magic. So whatever you are going through in this very present moment, please keep breathing. Please keep remembering your power. Please keep coming home to you and know that you are so powerful of feeling how you want to feel and creating a life that you want to create. And if you need some help, I am here. I'm here to support you through that. So today's topic for morning tea is getting still with yourself. Okay, sorry, just have to turn on the do not disturb. Hold on one sec. Getting some notifications. Okay, we're back. Just had to put on my do not disturb because the notifications were a bit distracting. So today's topic is getting still with ourselves. Now, this week in the Rachel Kelly coaching world has not been an easy one. In fact, the whole year of 2024 has not been an easy one for me. It has been a lot of shedding. It has been a lot of change. It has been a lot of like things in motion. It has been a lot of death and rebirth. It has asked me to come home to myself in a way that I have never done before, in a deeper way, in a more potent way, in a more powerful way, in a more solid way. And it has really tested my level of internal safety. It has really tested my ability to stay connected to myself. And you guys know I always keep it real with you. It has not been perfect. The past couple days, I left myself and I needed to come back to myself. And that is what inspired this topic of getting still, is how do we come home to ourselves when we have abandoned ourselves, when we have left ourselves, when we have allowed the opinions, the perceptions, the noise, the energy outside of ourselves to take us away from our wisdom, our truth, our intuition. Our intuition is always trying to guide us, always. But it is our job to get still enough to listen. And if we're running around avoiding ourselves, if we're running around distracting ourselves, if we're running around numbing ourselves, all of which I've engaged in, because I am not going to lie to you guys, I'm on this journey with you. And the ways that I lead you through your own healing are the same ways that I have to lead myself through it every freaking day. It is not easy, but it is so worth it every time. Last night, I felt a level of fear where I literally felt like I was dying. I was like, holy shit, I'm dying. This is it. This is how I go. I'm dead. And I know that sounds dramatic, but that's how it feels in my body when I've left my body. And when I say leaving my body, it means that my inner child has taken over and she has allowed other people's energy and trauma to infiltrate her being. And it is really scary because it really disconnects me from myself. Now, for those that work with me intimately or know my story or have been following me for a while, you know that I have suffered with BPD symptoms. And really, the main symptom that comes up, and her name is Bertha. We have named the BPD symptoms Bertha. It helps externalize these symptoms. It helps me look at these symptoms. It helps me notice when Bertha has come, when she has left. And last night, Bertha had made a visit for the first time in a long time. I've talked a lot about how I've really healed my anxious attachment, my BPD symptoms. And when we heal symptoms, it doesn't mean that they never come back. It means that one, it's not our norm anymore. It's the exception. So my norm used to be living with BPD symptoms more frequently. My norm used to be living with anxious attachment symptoms more frequently. What are all these symptoms have in common? Abandoning myself, leaving myself, disconnecting from my own intuition, from my own breath, from my own body. Now, it doesn't mean that it never comes up. It means that even though that used to be my norm, now it is the exception. So the norm for me now is regulation, grounding, power, emotional intelligence, emotional mastery. That is my new energetic norm. But then sometimes life happens where there is an immense amount of fear. And it really, given everything that I have shed recently, without going into too much detail, because I'm not ready to go into the detail, it makes complete sense why my inner child would come out and why I would feel scared, but it does not excuse the way in which I've chosen to relate to that, which was to give in to some external saving, some graspiness, some addictive behaviors. That does not excuse it. It allows me to have compassion for the younger part of myself, but it also asks me to hold a higher standard for myself. That even when the fear gets so strong, and even when everything feels like it's crumbling to pieces, that I have the power and the choice in how I want to relate to that, how I want to respond to that. I just realized that I'm not using my microphone for this pod recording, and I'm also kind of far away from the camera. So, sometimes when I listen back to these episodes, I'm like, huh, you can't really hear me that well. So, all right, hopefully this is better. I just feel like laying back right now. So I'm just gonna hold it up and we're just gonna hope that this is better for you guys listening, because I want you to be able to actually hear this. So Peach, my microphone, and I are just gonna stay right here. So we always have the power in how to relate. So I had noticed all the warning signs of like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit ungrounded. I'm starting to feel some fear. The solution to all of this, rather than engaging in addictive behavior, seeking external saving, asking a million people their opinions, basically all the things I used to do on a normal basis, the solution to all of this is getting still. Now, getting still is not going to feel safe, because when you have fear and your body is in survival mode when it does not need to be in survival mode, it's going to trick you into believing that it's not safe to get still, that you just have to keep going. You have to keep talking to the people. You have to keep figuring out what to do next. And I was very much in that mode last night, where I was trying to make a few big decisions, one of which I think I've made, the other I am still sitting with. And decision making has been historically one of the things that has created the most fear for my inner child in the past before I did this healing work, because it requires a level of self-trust, that knowing no matter what decision I make, I am safe. No matter what decision I make, it's just allowing my free will to choose between two different paths, and either one is okay. There's no right or wrong. But historically, it has felt unsafe for me to make big decisions alone on my own, because I've not yet developed that sense of unconditional self-trust, where it still feels like I could make a decision that would lead me further down a path I don't want to go, or it could risk losing attachments And when we feel like we could risk losing attachments in our lives, especially after I've already just lost so many people, it can feel really, really scary. So, with that being said, there were a lot of decisions that I needed to make this week. And I got still to a certain extent, but then the fear really took over. And I always like to be real with you guys because I think sometimes when we look at people in positions of power and leadership, like I am here on this podcast, on this Instagram page to guide people home to themselves. And I know that for a lot of people, their egos get in the way of, oh, I'm supposed to be leading people, and yet I am having trouble leading myself right now. So it creates a sense of like imposter syndrome or, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Just your ego. Like your ego gets in the way. It wants to protect you and make you present like, oh yeah, I'm this leader that has all my shit together. And so one of my values in my brand is transparency. Now, transparency doesn't mean I'm going to share every single detail or every single thing that happens. It means that I'm always going to keep it real with you. Like, yes, I am a powerful leader. I guide my clients every single day home to themselves. Like, I'm fucking really good at what I do. Like, I can say that really confidently. And it doesn't mean that I'm not human. It means that I'm human and I allow space for my humanness, which my client really liked that word, humanness. Um, and I walk myself through these things so that I can then walk you through it. And so that's part of the reason why I love sharing about my own experiences, is because one, it normalizes it, that no matter how much healing you've done, you're still a human being. You're still going to be messy. You're still going to be imperfect. And part of healing my perfectionism has just been allowing myself to be messy. And the second reason is to normalize, like, you are not alone. All the things that you're hiding in shame around, like, oh my God, I do this thing, or oh my God, I feel this way. It's normalizing, like, we're all fucking human. We all have ways in which our trauma and our protectors and our inner child gets in the way. And the more that we can normalize that without placating to it, right? We're not using it as an excuse to stay stuck. We're using it as a way to normalize that we all have these experiences, but those experiences don't have to be the norm. Ooh, yes, look at that. We're normalizing these experiences without making these experiences the norm. I love what I just said there because it's so freaking accurate. It's not that we want to normalize all sitting around being dysregulated. Nope, nope, nope. That's not what we're here to do. It's normalizing that in order to shift it, you have to come into relationship with it. You can't keep avoiding yourself. You can't keep repressing it. You can't keep hiding in shame around it. You have to allow it to come forward, to look at it, to look at these parts of yourself that you feel ashamed of, that you feel scared of. When Bertha comes back, it's terrifying. Like, there's no way for me to explain it other than it feels like this demon takes over my body, disconnects me from myself, and I'm just trying to get back home to my body. That's how strong fear can be. And it's quite literally terrifying. And my ability to be able to move through that and, ask for support when I need it is fucking mind blowing sometimes, because these symptoms can be so strong. And again, it's not that when you heal symptoms, they just never go away. It means that there's going to be new layers of it. So those of you who have done anxious attachment healing with me, you know that, like, I've healed a lot of my anxious attachment and I relate 99% of the time through secure attachment, but there's always that 1% that might creep up and be like, oh, I'm feeling a little graspy. What's going on? And it's information. And you know firsthand, if you've worked with me, that you will experience those shifts where you're able to relate to things more and more through secure attachment. But the goal is not perfectionism. The goal is to continue to look at that 1%. Like, where am I still getting graspy? And holding yourself accountable to looking at what happens for you there and relating differently. because we can use that 99% as a really valid excuse of not looking at that 1%, but it's just blocking you from feeling fully how you want to feel. Does not mean we need to be relating 100% through anything, any secure attachment. The goal is not perfection. The goal is I love myself so much. Oh, my grandpa's calling. Should I have him on the pod? That would be really funny. Poppy. All right, I'm gonna call him back. Okay, my grandpa was calling. I put it on do not disturb. What the hell? How is he still able to call? How is he still able to call if I put my phone on do not disturb? Anyway, so the point is that we love ourselves enough to want to look at that 1% and be like, where am I still feeling not how I want to feel, because I love myself enough to want to look at that and to be honest about it. It's not easy coming on to a public platform too and being like, yeah, these symptoms took over, the sphere took over. Our egos want to make it look like we are just perfect and we got all of our shit together. The more that we can allow the messiness to exist, the more that we can look at it, come into a relationship with it, shift it. For as long as we try and hide the messiness, the more messy we get internally. Think about with cleaning your home, right? The more you avoid, looking at the mess you've created, the messier it will get. The more that you avoid looking at your bank account, the more debt you'll get, right? It's like what you focus on grows. So if you're focusing on avoidance, your avoidance is going to grow. So back to the topic of getting still. Last night, I needed to just fucking get still. I needed to stop talking to everyone about these decisions. I needed to come back to my breath. I needed to come back to the safety of this present moment. I needed to co-regulate with my mentor, and I needed to just breathe, and know that everything's okay. Things feel very shooketh right now. My nervous system needs a lot of extra tending to, a lot of extra grounding. And what grounds me, what makes me feel connected to myself, is doing things that make me feel connected to myself. So my meditation, my chanting, my journaling, coming on here and talking about this work and meeting with my clients and creating really helpful content for you guys. Like all of those things connect and align me with my soul's purpose. And when I'm connected to my soul's purpose, I'm not disconnected from what I'm actually meant to be doing. Hey, Rita, thanks for joining. So there will be resistance to getting still. You're going to want to run away from it. You're going to want to reach for the TV. You're going to want to reach for the ice cream. You're going to want to reach for the person. You're going to grasp onto that person. I got graspy this week and I was like, this is so not a vibe. And you know what I realized too is that people love when you're graspy because they think it's cute, like in terms of romantic partners or people that you're dating. They think it's cute when you're graspy because or it could go the other way. It's like either they're repulsed by it, which they should be. The appropriate response would be, I am repulsed by this behavior because why are you a child in an adult body? That doesn't make sense. But also they're able to have compassion, right? Not repulsed in like a judgy way, but just like, get your shit together, woman, Anyway, but I've noticed this with romantic partners where when my inner child comes out, it's reinforced because they think it's cute. They think it's cute when I get like reactive, or they think it's cute when I get, like, I don't know, just like in baby mode. And I'm like, this is not cute. And it was just such a powerful example of how that's reinforced. So then we do more of it. And it's like, no, it's actually not cute at all. No one wants to date an activated 2-year-old. It's not the vibe, right? Like, leave your inner child in childhood. Keep tending to her, but then come back to your adult self. So, anywho, the whole point of this is that the resistance to getting still is going to be strong. We can accept that. We can understand it. We can validate that. And you have to become stronger than the defenses. You have to outsmart your nervous system. You have to, even when it feels fucking impossible, you have to literally force yourself to put your hands on your body, breathe as deeply as you can, anchor and ground to this present moment. In this present moment, I am safe. I'm in my home. I see the trees. I see the sun. I see myself on the screen. Looking at yourself in your eyes and being like, I am so safe. I did that so much last night. I just looked at myself in the eyes, in the mirror, and I was like, I see you and I'm here with you. It's all just the inner child. They just feel so scared when change happens because the nervous system doesn't like change. But this is how you get to your next level of expansion. This is how you feel how you want to feel in your life. This is how you realize how fucking powerful you are when you feel like you're dying and then you get yourself through it and you're like, oh my God, everything's actually okay. The thing is that everything actually is okay, but we don't feel like it's okay. And it's okay to just acknowledge that. Like last night, I literally said the words, like my mentor was like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't feel okay at all, but I know I'm okay. Like I know I'm okay, but I don't feel that way at all. And I need to just honor that and acknowledge that and be with the fear and allow myself to be witnessed and seen and held in that. And the more that I do that, the more I'm able to hold myself through that. And that's fucking powerful when you don't need anyone else to get you through something like that and you can do it on your own, but you don't have to do it on your own, right? That's where this balance of like dependence and hyper independence comes into play. There's no shame in needing support and there's no shame in wanting to practice moving through things alone. It's a balance. It's whatever you're needing more of. Like if you're more on the side of I'm always hyper independent, allowing yourself to receive support is so freaking powerful. If you're more on the side like I was of dependence, it's really powerful for me to be able to anchor more to myself than it is to anyone else to get me through those moments. And just remember when that fear takes over, when that dysregulation takes over and you're avoiding getting still with yourself, like that's not your authentic self. That's your trauma taking over. That's your inner child taking over. And so, how would I relate through my highest self? How would I relate through my most powerful self? And how can I take steps towards that? So maybe getting still right away does not feel safe, but maybe, taking a walk in nature and breathing and just anchoring to the trees, like meeting yourself where you're at. So if you're not able to get fully still because that doesn't feel safe, that's okay. But what can you do to anchor back home to yourself? Can you ground? Can you sing? Can you look at yourself in the eyes? Like coming into a relationship with all parts of yourself. It's a continual process, but it is one, there's nothing more valuable than that. You are literally the most important person in your life. You are the most important relationship in your life. Nothing and no one matters more than you. Literally nothing. Not one thing matters more than you and taking care of you. And everyone in your life may tell you otherwise. They'll tell you it's selfish. They'll tell you that, you need to make sacrifices for those you love. And yes, sometimes we do make sacrifices for those that we love. And other times we just have to prioritize taking care of ourselves. So I want you to practice breathing, getting still, noticing when the rumination, the obsessing, the overthinking, the fantasizing, put your hands on your heart and take deep breaths. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths together right now to practice and have this co-regulation living on this podcast episode for you to come back to. So everyone put your hands on your heart. If you feel safe enough to close your eyes, take a big deep breath in, filling up the belly with air, making sure you're not skipping the belly. It's so important. Breathing all the way into the chest. And slowly release. And again, filling up the belly, up through the chest, all the way to the crown of your head. Hold and slowly exhale through your mouth. And one more. You are so safe. You are so seen. You are so held. You are so supportive. The universe always rewards courage for feeling your feelings. I had a lot of fear come up. I had to breathe and get still with myself. And as a reward, the universe gave me the most magical morning this morning. I got a discount on one of my expenses that I was not expecting. I had the most beautiful live with a person that hosted me for an interview on their page. I had a beautiful one-on-one application submit who I have a discovery call with today, who I believe is my next client. Like, so much magic happens on the other side of doing things differently and feeling your fear and doing it anyway, of getting still with yourself, of connecting back home to yourself and doing the hard, painful work of actually feeling your fear, feeling your feelings. Fear is just fear. Sometimes it can feel so fucking powerful, but it's up to us to really come back to how much power do we want to give anything? How much meaning do we want to attach onto anything? That's true detachment, is when it's not that you don't care, it's that you honor your actual feelings and you're able to move through the waves of the highs, the lows, the fear, the joy, and you get to experience a full range of human emotions. That is freedom. That is detachment. Not trying to control everything so you feel a certain way, but the ability to be with all things that come up, because life will be painful, life will be scary, life will be hard sometimes, but we have to choose our hard. So that is my little story of Bertha coming back from the dead, and now we planted her back in the ground. And we've come home to ourselves, and we're gonna have to do that many times, and that's okay. Getting still is the path to hearing your own voice. Getting still is the path to breathing to your own breath. Getting still is not allowing everyone else to infiltrate your thoughts, your emotions, and having strong energetic boundaries. Calling your energy back. I call my energy back to me. I call my power back to me. I want you to use those mantras anytime you need them. And if you are ready to fully heal your nervous system out of survival mode, to heal symptoms so that they are the exception and not the norm, I have one-on-one spaces open. I have spaces left in Real Men Heal starting this Tuesday, March 12th. We just have 2 spots left. I'm so freaking excited for this next round. Like, the men that have come in already to this group, they have no idea how their lives are about to change. Like, so good. So good. This work is so good. All right. I love you guys. Also my membership, join my membership, $3.70 a day, or you can do it for $2.70 a day if you do the painful discount. Weekly live trainings, weekly community, Q&As, support, connection. You don't have to feel alone on your healing journey. And I love you. I love you. I love you. Keep coming home to you. Keep getting still every day with yourself. All right. Love you guys. See you on the next episode or the next live. Love you. Bye.